Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, guys, to GTS today. Yes, on Friday, just like every Friday, up until the season ends, eventually, one day. Um, this is Master Grade Jess coming at you guys live with Jay from Otafest here in Calgary. Hey,
Hello.
Jay. How are you, man? And then
Doing great.
a beautiful man who needs no introduction, DG Gumpla, a.k.a. Sean.
AKA pandemic victim.
Nice. And thank you, Decon R, for the follow. So that's really cool because that was not planned at all. But as you guys can see, now we have the alerts, and I ended up putting the Unicorn Gundam there because you guys know how much I love the Unicorn. So it's a little gag for you guys out there. Thank you guys for joining us today here on GTS. I want to say hi to Rusty Golem over there. I also want to say hi to Grumpy Mao and this guy Gadex102. I don't know who he is.
I think we gotta time him out again.
Probably need to time him out again. No, Han. Hey, what's up, Han? So, just really quick before we get on with Jay, because Jay has some awesome stories for us today. Right,
So
Jay?
much pressure. No pressure.
It's okay, Jay. It's okay. Our viewers are very friendly. They don't bite. Not all of them. I've heard Gadex 102 does bite sometimes. So.
No, I don't think, Shane. We're open here.
We also have G Hobby in the chat. Anyway, but with that said, I'm gonna move on here. I just want to give a quick announcement that GTS, we are now affiliate with Twitch, which means that we get alerts. That means that you guys can subscribe, means that you guys can donate. I'm not asking you guys to, but if you want to, you can. Really help out the channel, help us, help the brand out so we can expand, get better equipment so you guys don't see this crappy camera. Speaking of cameras, today we have a different kind of show. Because now, look how big the cameras are here, right? It's like the focus isn't on the slides. It's going to be on what we're talking about with Jay over here.
That's amazing.
How does that feel, Jay? How does it feel to know that you're in the middle of the screen? You're...
Again, no pressure. No pressure. I'm hyperventilating. Where's my paper bag? All right, this was nice. I gotta go.
Yeah, so definitely, if you guys could give us a follow if you're watching, it'll really help us out to grow and keep it expanding, like I said. Be really cool. It's a really awesome milestone, and maybe next time we'll get partner. Who knows? It's wishful thinking, but we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for wishful thinking a year ago, right?
Hashtag goals.
Yep.
Goals, baby. Keep them in mind and work towards them. You guys have done an excellent job so far. So.
Oh, thank you so much, man. That means a lot coming from you guys, especially over there in Otafest. You guys are big. You guys are big over here in Calgary, so.
Ooh, well, I mean, again, no pressure. But,
Yeah.
I mean, we've been part of the community for so long that it's, people have literally grown up through Otafest. Not just like staff or volunteer, people who are like involved in it, but the community as a whole. We see people grow. We see how demographics change. We see how like the shift in interests and things like that, and we try to grow along with them. So
Yeah.
that's a big part of it. 21 years, I want to say, maybe 22. Someone's gonna slap me for saying the wrong number. It's like forgetting your anniversary.
Ooh. Don't tell my wife that.
Yeah, exactly.
Come barging in here right now. Deacon says, Jay, you're quiet for once.
Well, I can be louder if you like. I can be much louder, but I won't be.
Oh, man. Rusty Golem, thank you so much for the subscription. Rusty Golem just subscribed. Awesome. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
So we're going to go on to really quick. We have a really awesome friend that we made in Season 2, Otaku Builder. He just came out with his Real Great Zong. And oh my god, is it ever beautiful. I mean, Sean, what did you think of that, man?
I mean, I still gotta watch the video, but just that thumbnail alone, I mean, is fantastic.
Yeah, it's sexy, man. Taco Builder James. It's weird. I don't like calling him a Taco Builder because now that I've met him,
He's James.
He's James, right? So it's like, hey, James. Thank you, Kid Chaos, aka Noble Mecha, one of the biggest supporters for the brand. Thank you so much, man, for the subscription. But
and the start of the hype train.
yeah, man, we're going there. We're getting places, guys. What's it called? So. So James, awesome job. You guys should go over there and watch his video. Really awesome. We love him. We're gonna have him in the show maybe soon. I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything. And just real quick shout out to Gundammer Pat over there on Instagram. He is doing a build off right now, a contest to raise awareness to the hashtag Stop Asian Hate for the movement. As I've mentioned last week, some of the closest people in my life here in Calgary are Asian, so I am really, attached to this in some way. Stop Asian hate. Like, come on. It's we have to be nice to each other,
I can
guys.
support that.
Yeah.
I could hate it. I could get behind that.
Maybe. I wonder why.
No bias whatsoever.
Yeah.
No, not at all. That's not what we're about.
No, not at all.
Stop hate in general.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for everybody, right? This is true. We here in GTS stand behind. Nobody gets hate. Nobody. All right, except maybe Derek sometimes, but we love him. He knows we love him.
Yeah, that's not Asian hate or hate. It's just Derek.
It's just Derek hate. Stop Derek hate.
Understand.
But we're gonna throw this over at Sean because, as you guys know, Sean is the one who created this. He's the one who put everything together. So applause to Sean too. He's been helping me out a lot this season, and I'm just gonna hand it off to him so you guys don't have to hear my voice anymore. All right, here we go.
So yeah, speaking of loving the Asian community, I mean, Otafest is Calgary's homegrown anime convention, and we're really happy to have Jay hanging out with us, telling stories, because I've only been with Otafest for a year, and my con didn't end up happening, so...
That is so rough, and like, you guys have done, just from an internal standpoint, so much legwork that for it to not have to pay off due to a global pandemic is just so, like, it's crushing for everyone. But I mean, like, when you put in work and you don't get like the immediate like sort of gratification for that,
I mean, let's be honest here, it was like mostly Derek's work. I was just kind of dragged along for the ride. But
no, I mean, it's always a team effort. Like, small efforts lead to greater results. It's not just one big action or anything like that. So the sum of all its parts. You have to remember that. It's just like building a model, man.
Yeah. Well, I take great pride in being a grounding factor for Derek, so...
Lord knows he needs it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I mean, we figured we'd talk about some of the history of Otafest, some of the stories that have come up over 2 decades it's been around, and also talk about what's happening for this year, because we're doing something crazy and something special. So, honestly, let's start with just the early years. I mean, it started in 1999 as a small group at the university.
Yeah, it was actually an anime club, like old school. We're talking like, there was a time, I don't know your audience demographic here, but there was a time before manga was like easily accessible at Chapters, or you can just go to Crunchyroll. Like, I was barely part of that generation, and I wasn't at Otafest yet at the time at the University of Calgary there, but it was the University of Calgary's dedicated otaku anime club. And actually, some of the original members, or some of the club members, I should say, are still with Otafest. It's like, it's been that long. Like, the club existed before the con. I don't know for exactly how many years, but we were talking about a time where, like, you had to completely legally obtain your anime from completely legal sources. Through like less than reliable means, but I mean, through those efforts, and I think this shows in today's convention as well, the event that we know and love, it's like putting in the work gets you results, builds the community, gets the people together, and yeah, it's honestly like a testament to like a longevity and passion, because like we're talking from such a grassroots time, like where people were literally going on to like if you remember IRC, and you can actually transfer files through IRC, and that's how people were getting their shows at like dial-up speeds, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I mean, even for me, like at that time, I wasn't even yet in high school in '99. So I mean, when I hit high school and joined an anime club, it was whatever was on the preview disc that came in Otaku USA or whatever it was, and we're like, we can only watch so many of these episodes before they get copywritten, and then we can't watch them at school.
And like, I already had it more or less easy when I was a kid. I'm sure we all sort of remember, being able to just hop on like YTV, for example, or Teletoon back in the day.
Rest in
And
peace, good YTV.
Yeah, and you'd get like your Inuyashas and Beyblades and Pokemon, of course, or
Yeah.
Sailor Moon, Card Captor. So many um, I would call them classics. Many of them were classics. Some of them were more classic than others.
The vastly inferior Canadian dub of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, and that's the best part. There were so many it's like shared experiences, but like different somehow.
Well, and
because of licensing and all that kind of stuff.
And like they would have the New Year's Eve where they would just run an entire block of anime and then end it with Endless Waltz. It's like,
yeah, because it would be like nobody's watching. They're all doing something. And it'd be like, no, I'm watching. And it's like burgeoning the little nerd that we were, and we're just like, yeah.
That's how things start out. Like,
Yeah.
you look back, right, and you think about how far anime has come, right? With it now being so accessible. Like, we're talking about more than 20 years ago now, right? 1990s weren't 10 years ago like we used to think. Like, we're getting old, right? Like, this is the way it happens, but the movement of the media and everything has just gone. It's blowing up. Right now, it's not even, it used to be very taboo, but now it's not, right? And like even our audience here, Kid Chaos saying watching anime on VHS, Deacon saying late night Gundam Seed on YTV, just all these things that we had to do in order to watch a little bit of anime, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I used to get up at 3 a.m. to watch Gundam Wing because that's when it was on, and like my parents would be like, Sean, why are you sleepwalking all of a sudden? We keep finding you on the futon in the back room with the TV. I'm like, yes, sleepwalking. Until I told them, I think in grade 12, I was like, yeah, I wasn't actually sleepwalking. I would be up at 3 a.m. to watch Gundam Wing, and then I'd sleep on the couch.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm just looking at the photo that you have up because I did want to speak to it.
Yeah, please do.
I wasn't part of the very earliest years, even though I've been around for about 14 years now.
Yeah.
I do see a few faces I recognize. I think there is a Rory in there in the back top right.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a Paul in the middle right side. I think there is that might be Gareth. I can't quite tell. That might be Robert. I know I'm just pulling out first names here, and a lot of folks don't know them right off.
Yeah, it's like, who are these people?
But I'm naming folks that are still around.
Yeah.
Specifically as well.
Yeah.
Being part of the con organizational community, just being part of the.
All right, I'll be right back. I got a phone call.
Oh. All right. I see how it is.
It's okay.
Okay, well, moving on. But yeah, these folks, have dedicated 20 years plus to the organizational sort of grassroots community in Alberta. Of course, there's Animathon. Shout out to them out in Edmonton. But, for a lot of folks, I think in Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, all the other small communities that we have in Alberta, we definitely cater to all the ones, in the south, and then, up north. Animathon took care of that, and a lot of us have helped each other. We're not I don't know if people know, but we're not a very competitive scene regarding our cons. We're actually very collaborative.
Mm-hmm.
There have been times, of course, where there's not necessarily like drama or disagreements, but really just like, hey, in the spirit of friendly competition or whatnot, then we'll do fun things against each other, more or less. But on the whole, it's been much more collaborative than people might think, and it's actually amazing because a lot of folks in a lot of other organizational communities, even out in Canada, out in Vancouver and out in Ontario, we hear stories all the time about just how cutthroat they are against each other, and it's kind of, we think it's strange, but that's maybe actually the norm, and we've just been lucky, with the good people that we have all over this province.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you're definitely right when it comes to just people being cutthroat, right? Like, it's I feel like you guys were lucky because you hear it a lot from a lot of places, and the fact that you guys just learned how to get along with each other, because at the end of the day, you guys are aiming for the same goal, right? Um,
Right.
so I think that's what really helped bring you guys together in that sense, right?
And for us, we're sort of like, doesn't that make sense to everybody? But we're not here to tell anyone else how to run their organization or cons. But it's just how we feel about it, and it's worked for us so far. Animathon's slightly older than Otafest. They've made it about 26 years, I want to say,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just past 20 now, and still growing, hopefully, and
Well,
we have no plans to quit.
Oh, well, and we had with Animathon, we have a healthy rivalry with them. There's no like hostility between us. We kind of prod at each other.
But I will say, for the purposes of this particular slide, because it is like of history, I know that there was like a slight animosity back in the day, but that's part of like rivalry is healthy. If you can keep it healthy, like constructive criticism, then it helps all communities involved grow. So
Yeah.
there he goes again.
And then he goes again. He just leaves. I'm gonna have.
Good old Irish goodbye.
I'm gonna have to beat him.
I like how he does it quietly because he's like trying not to draw like attention away.
But it's
And I'm
like-
just like no, there he is.
Like
Get him.
the day that we have the camera zoomed in like this big, right? It's like this empty space on his. No, but this is definitely a piece of history. I just want to ask, who did the amazing job of photoshopping this anime chick on here?
So that is our mascot. She's persisted through all 20 years. Persephone. She was an angel of death. I have no idea why we went with that conception as an anime.
Yeah.
But I've always but she's grown to be honestly like a loved character in our community. She people do ask for her, look for her, want to interact with her, and we've tried to keep that up as best as we can. And I don't know who did the shop job, but I'm just as impressed as you are. We're talking. This is a time before
Yeah.
real Photoshop. Too,
Yeah.
so.
It's like who edited this? Like, you guys have who's working here? Actually, real quick, guys, in the audience. So, what is her name again? Persephone.
Persephone or Seth. Seth is like the generally used name.
Okay, so Seth.
Friends call her Seth.
So Seth, she's the same one from the first slide here in Otafest, right? But now she's a little bit more cutesy. She's not an angel of death anymore.
Well, I think she's always been an angel of death. She's just there's many ways to die.
Oh, okay.
There are many paths that lead you to the end, and she will beckon you to all of them and guide you to all of them.
Let's see.
I just want to say I'm sorry I'm disappearing, but my grocery delivery is early, so I'm
damn.
keeping tabs on that.
No, it's okay. Real quick, I want to thank Rusty Golem for gifting already 2 subs over to Grumpy Mout and Gabdrobo Customs. Thank you so much, man, helping us grow right there. So don't think I didn't see him, but here we are. But yeah, so early years, whoever did this, I hope that whoever next time you have the Otafest meeting, just ask them who it was if they know.
Oh, absolutely. I'm actually kind of intrigued as well. I could probably guess, but because I don't know all of that crew from back in the day, I'm not gonna attribute it falsely if I can.
Yeah. No,
So,
I get it.
You know how old that photo is? Look, the boxes there don't even say Amazon on them. That's how old.
That's how old it is. And no, you're right. I mean, I can tell this is a scanned, one of those pictures that people would take to the pharmacy to get,
Oh yeah,
This
for
is
sure.
This is definitely that old style.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
It's got that flavor, but
But here's the thing. Here's the thing I admire about this picture is, who would have thought, right, that these people were gonna be the pioneers of what is now Otafest.
Right, like from small beginnings, I think is the phrase. It's again, I mentioned some folks that are still part of the community from like the very beginning of things, but it's not even about that. It's sort of seeing how you inspire other people to join you, shared interests. Like, I don't want to like make this sort of strange, but like a lot of us don't really like indulge in as much like anime watching, for example, anymore, or as many video games. Like obviously, as you grow, not just only do your interests change, but your priorities change. With that being said, a lot of it that keeps us together is, of course, just not really the interests that we used to share, but so much more about like the bonds that we create, the stories that we have, the memories that we have. Which is a big part of volunteering in general, and like it's not just another job. It's not even close to being a job. Like we all work, we've all got our own private personal lives.
Yeah.
But if you think of like, if you have to start thinking of Otafest as a job, we always like, we've told people to like, you need to reprioritize things for yourself. So that and that might mean leaving as well. I don't want to get like too much into that kind of thing, but you have to realize what priority Otafest takes, but because of, again, the bonds that we have, it's not much of a task for us as much as people think, but there is a lot of work, I will say. No,
and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because for a team, especially, looking at this picture again, talking about the pioneers of Otafest, right? When people start doing this, it's not because they're out there to gain something, right? And the reason I'm drawing a parallel here to GTS, right, to us over here. When I first got Derek on here, when I got Sean on here, I told him, hey guys, I cannot pay you, right? Like at the end of the day, this is kind of like a little bit of a work because we have to prepare things, but I'm doing it because I love doing this and I want you guys to be a part of it. Are you guys up for this kind of style, right? And despite them having their jobs, their 9-to-5s and all that, they're like, you know what, we'll help you. And I think that's the best part about projects like this, is when you can find the people that have the same passion for whatever it is that you want to do, right?
Shared goals. I mean, we all have, there's so many different departments. Of course, there's the Gundam crew, there's the Maid Cafe crew, the Artist Alley folks, like, but we all have this like sort of idea of that we want to deliver an excellent experience for people. Like I can definitely start talking about sort of my first entry into like Otafest as well, leading into that. But just like the whole idea is, we are not like we are fully a volunteer committed planning committee, which what that actually means for people, like, because Otafest is like a 10,000 person con, and we're at the TELUS Convention Center, people might be like, oh, like, how much are you making? And I'm like, I make nothing, and I've been on the staff for 14 years, and here's these other members who've been around for 20 years and they're not getting paid anything. We don't get paid.
Yeah.
We use our capital that's available to us, and we obviously, through the love and support of the community, we have working capital that we use.
Yeah.
But that's for the con period.
Yep. If
there was ever like any sort of payment involved, it's really just when we build the community. That's like literally the payment that we get, is when we have new folks who see what we do and want to be involved, and they bring new ideas, new insights, new everything into our organization, into our social group as a whole. Like, that's the real payoff. I'm not gonna lie. And as much as a company, I don't want to get cynical here, but like, companies will always be like, oh, you're part of the Amazon family, you're part of the Apple family. There is no organization, I think, if you're getting like paid, if there's sort of a component where you are making a living off of what you're doing, that's not what family is about. That's, your parents didn't pay you, you know what I mean? Like, your grandparents didn't pay you to be part of the family.
Yeah.
Otafest doesn't pay you. You have to want to be here.
Exactly.
And that's sort of, and it's but there's a lot of beauty in that, and that's, keeping it simple like that avoids a lot of issues too.
Yeah, no. I wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment, and I'm so glad that as a person, I can see other people have done this before and it's worked. So it gives me that kind of goal also, be like, okay, so this is doable, right? I don't have to pay Sean. That's kind of how it goes.
It's a good thing he's not here.
He's not here. He's not here. Speaking of moving on and doing all of this stuff, We have these pictures here from the first decade, 1999 to 2009. So it's just a little compilation that Sean put together here, right? So can you walk us through a little bit here and tell us maybe some stories of the first decade?
Oh my God. So I probably joined about, I joined in about 2007. So obviously that's only the last little bit there of the last decade, but I've seen these photos before. Infamous Box Gundam cosplay, but one of our old staff members there. You know, it's one of the, I wouldn't say that's like mocking anyone, by the way. Like, cosplay is a wonderful art, but that's the beauty about art. You can simplify it and you can do it in the way that you want.
Yeah.
So we have Mac Hall. That's the vendor room, the old vendor room. I think that picture is taken from the stage of Mac Hall. That's at UFC. And boy, like, it's just so small looking now. I remember how many like memories I've made there, but just in comparison to like TELUS Convention Center's vendor hall that we have now, like, that's in that picture, if I had to guess, that's only about 500 people. And that's not even that's 5% of our entire like con as a whole. But back in the day, like, the vendor hall was about half of how many people. Like, when I joined Otafest in 2007, I think the attendance number that we had that year was only, I think it was just under 2K. It was probably about like 17 or 16 or 1700. So like, to know, like, that's how significant the vendors hall was to our numbers. It's not that it's not significant now, but obviously, like, it's just completely different. Cosplay Hill, the next one on the top right, is just so many memories. I'm not a cosplayer, never have been really. I've been in costume. It doesn't make me a cosplayer. I want to make that clear.
I beg to differ.
Like, you know, I don't know. It's like, I can't call, you know, Halloween costuming cosplaying. You know what I mean? No. Like, there's a whole other community to it, and I can't degrade their commitment to someone who just like put on some face paint and said, I'm doing this thing. But if you think of yourself as a cosplayer, that's all it takes for you to be a cosplayer. I don't think of myself as a cosplayer.
I gotta say, going through the pictures from back then compared to cosplay now, I mean, the increase of quality over the last 2 decades is just maddening. It's nuts.
But yeah, like, looking at Cosplay Hill here, like, there's people will they say a picture tells 1,000 words, right? That picture does not do justice in 1,000 words to what Cosplay Hill meant to the community when we were at UFC. Because what that specific hill represents, even again, not being specifically part of that community, it represented something intangible, something that Otafest as a organizational committee could not actually organize. We had a couple of small outdoor, we use that area as a organization to host some outdoor type events, especially if they involve like, you know, like water or like physical activity, that kind of thing, just so, you know, we had a space that was open and easy to access. But what the actual hill represented, especially during Otafest, was the intangible sort of community feeling. So people, like you can name all the stuff that happened there. That people would dance and take photos and use it as a backdrop, and like oh well, you can find that at any con. And that's true. I think every successful con has an area like that. You need to have a con like that because that's where you make friends. That's where the community actually knitted together. When they weren't going to a panel or watching anime together, you know, that's where you got to go just to hang out, have some food, meet a new person, all that kind of stuff. And you can't, there's nothing we can do as an actual organization to facilitate that. It just was. So again, 1,000 words is not even close to being enough for that.
No, I mean, even here, decon, am I saying it wrong? Is it decon or is it decon? Or am I saying it right? Decon R says cosplay hill dance parties were so much fun. That's what he says. Right. So, I mean, I've never tried cosplay. I have a lot of respect for people who do cosplay. One of our new members, well, our new member of the show, Lexi, used to be a cosplayer, and even Noble Mech over here telling us that he used to be a cosplayer too, right? So,
I've cosplayed a couple of times too, but
oh, you're gonna do it.
Right.
We're talking to chat right here. You're gonna do it again. So I'm making you.
I mean, somebody pay for it and I'll do it.
You and Derek are gonna become Digimons, and we're gonna put this out for the community so people can see you
Yo,
guys.
Digimon is legit.
So
I always love the show more than the Pokemon show, but I love the games a lot more than the Digimon games.
Pretty
But
fair.
yeah.
we won't get into that because Sean and I are just gonna get out. We're gonna start beating each other up because I'm more of a Pokemon fan. He's more of a Digimon fan. You know how it goes.
Just yeah. You got age-old rivalry, the way that it has to be.
Yeah.
That's why both brands are elevated as they are now.
Yeah.
Without competition, they would be nothing.
Yep.
Um,
What about this guy with the
just-
guitar? Oh, sorry. No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. I was actually about you're on the same page with me. We're step in step.
Okay.
So that's Johnny Young Bosch, one of our first bigger guests, actually. I'm gonna take a moment just to Wikipedia it because I don't want to get it wrong.
I'm gonna take a moment. I'm gonna start
Johnny
crying.
Young Bosch is like he came on in I want to say it was 2008 or 2009. I really don't remember specifically, but he is a very good voice actor. He has some very strong roles. He is known as Vash the Stampede from Trigun. That was like a really big one.
Oh yeah.
Again, I don't want to. When we get down to guests and stuff, I'm like, oh, I can't mess around with this.
I mean, he was the Power Ranger who got stuck with the frog in the minivan. So
Yeah, he was the Green Power Ranger, I believe.
yeah, black and green. Yeah.
Yeah. He honestly from the Gundam side of things.
Yeah.
He is Dirka Elsman from Mobile Suit Gundam Seed, but that's not one of his bigger roles, to be completely honest. But he has like a Full Metal Alchemist. He was Lujan, Naruto, Hishigure.
Actually, in Gundam, he was Orga in Iron Blooded Orphans.
Oh, was he
There you
really?
go.
Yeah, he was Orga. He's also Lelouch V Britannia in Code Geass.
Yeah, he's Ichigo from Bleach. That's a pretty big one too.
Wow.
So, and he's Brock from the Pokemon Origins series. So like the really well animated one.
Yeah.
That came out like
The
almost a
video
decade
game
ago.
one.
Oh my god.
That one.
Yeah.
The good one.
Yeah. Where like there's a very brutal scene of like Squirtle attacking, I think, Charmander.
Yep. Hey, that's how it should be. That's how Pokemon should have been from the beginning.
Yeah.
You know?
But then I don't think they would have gotten as much of a worldwide appeal.
Yeah, that's true. It had to be friendly.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why Digimon didn't get such a worldwide appeal, is because they weren't afraid to be mature.
But yeah, Johnny was a great guest, and he obviously multi-talented there, performing some of his own music, I believe,
Oh,
in that
awesome.
shot.
Cool.
That might have been in the science theaters. That definitely looks like a science theaters classroom. Just to wrap up real quick here, not that I don't want to talk about Johnny at all, but that's Taiko. I believe that's Midnight Taiko specifically. There's several Taiko groups in Calgary now. And they performed so many years for us at Otafest. Some of their memories are still around. I don't know if Midnight Taiko is specifically around, but I don't want to say, whether it is or not.
Yeah.
But they always had such a fantastic stage presence, and they sort of really rocked all of their shows. They're so cool.
Yeah.
I back then my role was in special events with them, so I actually would help prepare and load all their stuff for them, get their show kind of ready to go, get the audience all ready and stuff. And it was just we still have Taiko shows, and every Taiko show is amazing, but I remember those ones were just so special. There were times when they were doing it outside, and it'd be because we hold our show in May, And May in Calgary is tumultuous weather-wise, right? There'd be times where like we start nice and like a nice bright weather will get you in, and then as they were playing, it was like a rain dance. It was like calling the weather gods, and then you'd see like clouds start rolling in, but that only added to like the power of the show, and it was just like I don't know, like spine chilling kind of, because like there was just so much like power behind each beat and each rhythm. It was so cool, and the UFC was a fantastic time. If you weren't part of it, I'm sorry, but you know, not that Otafest isn't amazing now, but there was something about it, that venue that worked so well for us, even though it wasn't polished. Like you see that chalkboard eraser hanging out, just like, you know, the rooms were tiny. They fit like maybe 40 people, like they're classroom sized, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about that Mac Hall vendor is where I think that's 500 people. If it's more, I'd be surprised. Cosplay Hill was, you know, and that helped facilitate Cosplay Hill. Those other rooms being tiny meant you wanted to get together with your friends in a big open space. At least we had that, and that really is what built things up. But yeah, as Econ was saying here, it's duct tape and nerd power, and that actually went a long way for us back in those days.
I think it goes a long ways now too, right? Any kind of help, right? Kind of help.
Yeah. I also want to say that in this time, like I mentioned earlier, 2007's when I joined, straight out of, well, actually during high school. Technically, I joined Otafest to complete part of my Japanese assignment at high school.
Wow.
I'm an ambitious type of person. I'm a creative type of person. And back then, my first project with Otafest was the Maid Cafe. So the Maid Cafe has passed on to very capable hands now, but there was a time where again, duct tape and nerd power really was the leading cause of how everything was put together, and the Maid Cafe was no exception. A lot of the time we joke that we don't really want to talk about the first year of the Maid Cafe.
Yeah.
But like, you look at what the Maid Cafe is now. I hope that people have been able to go in the past. It's always been like sold out. We always do super well with it. I'd like to think that we, like, our original team really put a lot of the original footwork down to create those that path and, you know, make it a growing brand. But yeah, the reason why it started was literally because of a high school project in Japanese. It was just like, hey, you know, let's get something together. And I was just like, okay, can I do this for Otafest?
Like, yeah, look at you now, right?
Wild. I can't.
Yeah.
It was so much work. I was kind of like I won't lie, I was definitely a taskmaster type of person where I'd be like, you know, everything has to be perfect. We stayed up till like 2 a.m. just talking about like logistics for like pricing and like, I know I apologize if it's like not the most interesting thing, but like logistics is a big thing. It powers everything that we do, right?
Yeah.
So we talk about all the smallest things. Where are we gonna get it? And you have to remember, like, so this group, the original like Maid Cafe staff team, I originally like sent a message, an email, sounding as professional as a 17-year-old could.
Okay.
To Otafest, going like, "Hey, I have a suggestion. You know, if you wouldn't mind, I just like to run a Maid Cafe. You know, high school friends." So like, I mean, I've always been like a strong communicator, but I was just like, there's every chance they could turn us down. We sound stupid as hell.
Yeah.
But we pulled it together. We got it, like, because that's what it takes, is like a certain dedication to what you are committed to here, right? And the fact they took it at all seriously, like, I definitely remember the first meeting I ever had with Otafest staff, and the staff members I met with are still part of the organization. Shout out to Jenny, who gave me a chance. Right? And I'm just like, I don't know how I got where I did, but they were impressed by in some way, because I think it goes back to that whole, like, they know where they started from. They know, you know, just how amateur they were, or even were like are at that point.
Yeah.
Because I have other things that I can't say that we did, not because it's like it's a little shameful in a sense, but like like stuff was sometimes barely held together. But as long as people had a good time and they couldn't tell, that's all we could hope for and pray for, and then we'd have a next year planned. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. As long as they didn't notice the
So-
duct tape holding everything together, everything was good, right?
Exactly. You don't get to know about like the major crack in the dam as long as it's like this Band-Aid will keep it just right.
There we go.
You know?
It's the little
Right
Dutch
here.
kid with his finger in the wall, making sure that all of Denmark doesn't
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, it was a whole other time, and I'm so glad that I was able to start at it, even though again I was at the tail end of the first bit. It mattered.
No, and that's super cool. I mean, even you mentioning right now that in some way you feel like they gave you a chance because they themselves were amateur at that point. They knew where they came from, and I think that's very important, right? It's, you know, you can't let things go to your head, right? You know, you have to remember
Right.
where you came from. You're like, all right, you know, the 17-year-old kid wants a shot. Screw it, let's let him take it, right?
The worst thing is that they screw up for 1 year and we never hear about them ever again.
Yeah, it's like there's ways to solve this, right?
Yeah, and just to put it again with a tiny bit more perspective on the May Cafe,
Yeah.
17-year-olds don't have very deep pockets. I have no idea. Like there's a couple of photos remaining that's float around, but I'm like, I have no idea how the hell we pulled it together with the limited funds and like capital that we had, but we did.
Here, I mean, this is how it starts, right? I remember. I mean, again, like I said earlier, and Sean, you were gone when I said this, but drawn the parallels to like GTS, right? Like there are no funds. I mean, now we have a little bit of funds, right? Thanks to our patrons.
There is no money. Stop asking for money. There's
Like,
no
there's
money.
literally like we're still growing, and not that I'm ungrateful at all. Like, you know, we have supporters, Noble Mecca, who's on the chat right now, and people who have been supporting us along the way, right? But it's like, you know, we make do with what we have, right? That's the way this works, right? And as
Yo,
Kid Chaos says,
Kid is so right.
yeah, the power of anime and God, you know.
Yeah. I have the power of God and
Anime
on my side. And if it wasn't for the fact that we're an anime con, we would only have God. And ooh.
And dim sum and coffee, according to Decon, right there. Yeah. No, that's so cool. So moving forward, we have Otafest 2014 and Otafest Aurora 2014, and we have a video here that I paused. I'm gonna play it while we talk about this. I think this is kind of like a look to the. Let me check the.
Yeah, Otafest Aurora.
Yeah.
Oh. While that's all going, I'm gonna also point out that there was Otafest Light, and that's what Aurora came from. Light was, well, what I will say that Light was well intentioned, but not the best. Like, it's not this. It wasn't something that we were necessarily proud of in a like presentation scale, but we're proud of the things that came from it. And we're not talking down because like I know people had a good time there, so I'm not trying to take that away as like, oh, you think that was a good time? Well, it was sucked actually. It was really just the idea that the I want to focus on a lot of the positive things, and I'll even address some of the negative things. But the positive things were, for me personally, as a creative type of person, my role at the time, again, being in special events, being like a panel not coordinator, a panel creator essentially. Like I would create small events, plan small events, helped out with the May Cafe still at the time. It gave us a space to experiment, which is incredibly important. Because it allowed us to breathe a little bit from our regular activities, because we were at that time already growing. I think by 2014, Otafest Maine had already grown to closer to 5,000 people.
Holy God.
Which is incredible. Like when you have to consider all the small things, like our demographic, especially at that time, still tended to be mostly high school students, junior high school students, or just students in general, including like university level.
Tristana.
people don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
I remember so many of these cosplays. And some of the people behind those cosplays, which is honestly really heartwarming to see. Just look at all the work that's in those things. Like this is why I can't call myself a cosplayer. I can throw on a costume, but to disrespect the work by just put on a costume and calling myself a cosplayer is something I won't do.
Yeah. I miss the days with no masks. Look at that. Nobody has a mask. It's kind of like freaking me out.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Breathing on each other. What is that? Sharing oxygen? Oh, babies. I know so many of these people, and I'm very proud to say I know these people because they are very skilled and very intelligent folks who contribute so much to the community. It's insane. Look at that. Look how big that group is. And see, this is why I can't tell you about how important Cosplay's Hill is, you know?
Oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah. Anyways, just talking about Aurora really quick. Aurora grew out of light. Aurora was held at SAIT and held at the University of Calgary downtown campus as well on different years because Aurora was smaller and light was smaller, we didn't commit to a regular convention space, which honestly worked really well for us because like all things in the Aurora / light headspace, it meant we could experiment, we could see which venues had the right feel for us, and that goes a long way for a con of our type. We're not really just a giant vendors hall type con. We are really focused on having panels and having what we would call like interactive content. SAIT. And SAIT really provided a great space, and so did in its own way. Every venue has challenges, but I think SAIT was a really good one for us because it allowed us to polish some of our aspects of what we want to do, even though we were that maid cafe was a wonderful maid cafe. I love the space that we were in. I loved all the volunteers that did for us. The maid cafe volunteers, no offense to any of the other volunteers, I have a slight bias here, are some of the hardest working volunteers that we have because of I know how much physical work they put in to do those dances leading up to the con. Like it's you know, some K-pop and J-pop groups do it as a profession. They get paid to do it. The girls had to just get together, the girls and guys, and just sweat it out, you know, in usually not very well in air-conditioned rooms and with like, you know, good tutelage of like we had people that really knew the dances and they would teach the team. But like there were no like it wasn't like a cool ballet or dance studio where there's like mirrors so you could see all of your mistakes and you know where like a lot of it again was just the epitome of working. I love that was the 2014, sorry, tripping over my own words. You can see that there was like the royal theme there. Very cool costuming. Again, the costumes we try and pay out to our creators. Sometimes they volunteer as well to help create like props or costumes for us, but we do try and support the community. We don't always ask for free things because like even though sometimes we do and we're guilty of that, but it's just based on, you know, again, everyone does most things for pretty much no payoff other than the whole community love kind of thing. So
yeah, I mean, it's not
tough. It's a balance.
Yeah, it's not asking for free things for the sake of self gain, right? It's you know, it's for the good of the community and for the event, right?
Yeah, but I will say, in like the positive side, we have been trying to support more and more of our creators. So if they like make draw art for us, make merchandise for us, so on and so forth, we're trying to support them now. Whereas we honestly part of it was we didn't really have as good of a budget back then either. So
yeah,
that's such a cool Toho cosplay.
So
and then I wanted. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask. So wait, this is in May and there's snow outside.
This is so Aurora. Oh, hello. Very powerful moves. this Aurora took place in like November.
Okay, I was about to say because there's a lot of snow. I was like, this is weird.
Yeah, but that also made like logistics of like loading and everything was so much harder to do in the snow because of all this. What do you like? I can't. I
Snow.
don't even have to tell you. You live in Calgary.
Yeah.
You know how much everything sucks more with snow.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
and I can just say, as a SAIT alumni, I know how difficult getting things in and out of SAIT can be sometimes.
Yeah, it's very maze-like, unfortunately, with like how the
Yeah.
corridors and driveways are. So, loading and unloading was hell. We did worry about people not showing up just because we knew it was gonna be cold. But like, look at the themed cosplay for that though. Like because of the snow and the
that
old-looking
random
building and
A
all
lot
that
of,
stuff.
a lot of Elsos, a lot of
Right.
Jack Frost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when we had the masquerade ball too for the Aurora Ball. So I just thought it.
Saw Master Chief
Ah,
on here.
I love it. I love it. I really do. But then I want to address like all of this work. Like you can see that it already had grown to sort of a substantial event, Aurora, and addressing sort of the negative of that, which is sort of painful too, because there were a lot of positives to it. We couldn't dedicate it. We couldn't dedicate the time. 6 months between two cons. And again, our own growing personal lives. People were getting into serious relationships, moving around, moving up in their jobs.
Yeah.
And I even admitted it personally at one of our meetings, which was like the burnout. And I hate the idea of burnout because if you ask a lot of the folks, I'm a pretty energetic person. I hope that's come across today,
Yeah.
but maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you have burnout, it just makes you apathetic. It makes you not the person you want to be. It doesn't let you deliver the content that you want to deliver. And a lot of creators know that from digital like online creators. Like they're always thinking about how can I make a next hit? How can I get the next video going? What do I have to do to get all my content in line and high quality and all that stuff? And that's the kind of group we are, is that we want to do all those things, achieve all those goals. But again, 6 months between each con, we thought it was okay when it was light, and then as Aurora grew, we couldn't keep up. Personally, many of us were feeling it due to our obligations in our personal lives, and you can't. But that's not a blame thing. You have to have those obligations, right? You have to balance your lifestyle.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's a shame because people do ask for Aurora still, and sometimes it's still like a meme. I'm sure, and I know that no one means anything harmful by it, so I want to address that. And I don't even mind personally that people ask about it, because it was a good time. People ask for it because we delivered, right? So it is sort of like it hurts us to say that we had to take it away so that we could survive. It wasn't necessarily a financial decision, although it was a little bit tougher because you're stretching the original budget from one event into two.
Yeah.
Obviously, but at the end of the day, it was just it ground us down. Not all of us, but enough of us that we could see that our friends were getting tired, and we didn't want to do that to ourselves.
No. A life takes priority, right? I mean, like you said,
Yeah.
it's not a blame thing. It's that you have to have these things, right? You're growing up.
Right.
Things are changing, and you can't just pretend like you have all the time in the world to dedicate, right?
And I'm not sorry. It's just that I don't know if we've addressed. I think this may be only like the second or third time that we've really addressed like what Aurora meant to us, but also why it couldn't exist anymore for us. And it's always like it's tough because I had some great memories. I honestly feel like some of the content that I made specifically for Aurora because could only exist in that space. And I still haven't returned to some of that content, even though it's been a solid 7 to 8 years now. Because I just don't think Otafest is the right place for it. But at the same time, we know why we can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So
That's a good understanding.
oh, hi, X Devlin.
Yeah, he's like, Winter Wonderland.
Also, Decon is also Otafest. I know who they. I just don't want to necessarily name everyone.
No, it's okay.
Decon sent me a message and was just like, "Is it okay that I'm talking so much?" I'm like, "No, secondary commentary is great from
Yeah,
members of the team."
absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Honestly, like if anything, what we always like, and I always tell people is, we want you guys to interact with us. So if you guys put it on the chat, of course we can't always reply immediately because we're talking and we don't want to cut people off. But no, by all means, using it correctly. By all means.
Is that like a Calvin and Hobbes cosplay?
Right.
That was amazing. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Rusty Golem says, yeah, it's awesome that the nerd industry is getting a lot more popular nowadays. Back in my time, we had to hide.
It's true. I'd like to think that as a collective whole, as being part of a greater community, we helped with that. We helped people feel more comfortable. Otafest has a very strong affiliation with pretty much all communities that are welcoming and loving, and we are happy to have them. We participate. I'm very proud to say that we participate in the LGBTQ community. We're part of the Pride Parade, which is, in my opinion, on par with Otafest as a personal sort of like day for me. Just in how wonderful of expression and an expression it is to, like, of love it is to the community, and sort of how you can express yourself. So fantastic things.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, even my wife and I speak about it, but nowadays people are way more vocal about liking anime and everything, right? Because I've talked to Sean and Derek and them about this in the past. I was never a part of this. Even nowadays, I don't watch anime. Like,
right.
Sean knows. I literally don't.
He's a very surface level weeb.
Yeah, I do not watch anime. Like, I'll watch some of the more popular ones sometimes, but
Sure.
Emphasis on sometimes. It's not something that I want to do all day.
In fairness, that's like if you watch like Avengers Endgame and all the the superhero movies, some of the superhero movies, but I don't expect everyone to have read all the comics or watched all the shows between. That's fine, But you should be allowed to enjoy what you enjoy freely, as long as it's not detrimental to somebody else. Right?
Exactly, right. And so Sean?
For me, even at that, I'm an anime fan, but I maybe only watch 2 shows a season. Like right now, I'm watching SSS, Dynazenon, and Digimon Adventure 2020, and that's about it.
Nice.
So it's
I get it.
I mean, I don't have time to stay on top of every season. I'll just watch what kind of
catches your eye, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, Dynazenon is a giant robot dinosaur. Of course, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah. No, I don't know, just the way, it's funny how life works. Like I tell Derek and Sean and Lena and them, in the past, I wouldn't be a part of this. But as I've grown up, I've my wife always says it. My wife's like, hey, these, you wouldn't normally do this back when you were in high school and stuff, right? But nowadays,
I think part of it is you grew comfortable in your own skin as well. I'm assuming I didn't know you then, but at the same time, it's just the idea that I think a lot of people were like, hey, you know what? Screw you for putting me down, for putting the things that I like down. That doesn't make any sense. Why do you get to I'm into sports as well. I'm a well-rounded nerd somehow, but a sports fan is nothing more than a sports nerd. The way I participate in some online forums for them. I'm like, bro, the way you talk about the numbers and the players and the staff and stuff, what a nerd.
Yeah. No.
But that's somehow okay, and anime wasn't. Yeah. That's not quite right.
No, for me it was when I turned 18 and I started playing League of Legends. It really led me into the life of this, right? League of Legends really did open the avenue for me to, because eventually I started following the league scene, and I still do. And my wife would watch me watch Worlds and literally have tears, when I'm watching SKT play. And she's like, that's passion. You used to make fun of this stuff, and look at you now. And it's like, holy shit, you're right.
Right? But why not? Why not? It's passion. It's pure, it's pure love of what our interest, our love, And I get emotional very easily, so I'm
good,
again,
man.
Going through the slides, there's a
cry, man. I'll cry with you. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Kid Chaos says, "Damn, I was working on Dark Souls 2 and Agent Venom cosplay, and watching this vid makes me want to go and finish him. Go for it, man.
Very nice.
Noble, you
absolutely.
go
Finish
for
him.
it. Go for it.
Yeah.
He says, "I'm way too nerdy." What's up?
Oh no, sorry. I just wanted to speak to Decon's comment as well about like we have the biggest float at
Yeah.
the at the Gay Pride Parade.
Oh, there you go. See, like
We have like we have a one of our there's something I gotta talk about like that goes back to the whole staff, but like we have a semi truck, like we have someone who's a career like truck driver,
yeah.
you know, like long haul truck driver. So she owns her own semi truck. And we rent a trailer, and actually the trailer company, I don't remember the name, so I do apologize, and I can't shill for you, but they actually have in the past like supplied the actual flatbed for us, the flatbed trailer, like at no charge because they knew what we were using it for.
Yeah.
And like that's just more love from the community, and I think it's hilarious that we like the anime con has the biggest float.
That's awesome.
And we and it's not just the float. We also have all the cosplayers that walk side by side with like the whole thing. Like we rep big.
Represent.
Huge.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
But like and meanwhile there's like, you know, I don't want to diss anybody, but there's that whole thing where like every time like a pride sort of event shows up and they're like or you know, there's an opportunity to show how cohesive they are to the community, then all the companies show up where they're like, oh, we're also, you know, part of the pride community. Again, I don't want to take it away from them, but like we are part of the pride community as opposed to we're trying to get into the pride community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you've got a bank or something showing up, and they can't even give you like a good show at the pride parade, I think that's kind of sad.
It's kind of sus. Yeah, it's sus.
I was just about to comment. It's always the banks, and they're there, but they're not there.
Right.
And like it's hit or miss when politicians join in on it, because some you actually can tell they give a damn, and then others are literally there for the publicity.
Yeah. And meanwhile, we're just like full regalia. Give me your best cosplays out there. We've got the whole big ass truck. I have a Vuvuzela that I bring out, and I'm just like honking on it.
Good, yeah.
It is just, and we're blasting. We even have like a mobile dance platform, like on the truck. There's a little area where dance performers can go and like do a K-pop group dance thing, and we have music blasting. Like, do not tell me we do not show up for the community, because we are there for them.
Yeah,
we're there for us as a whole. It is the best time.
That's
sorry
awesome.
about that, but I just
no.
Like when I say I get emotional, that is something like I am going to like champion every time.
Good. No, shout it out, represent, right? You guys are part of the community. You guys aren't pretending to be part of it. You guys are actually moving it along. And Sean?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm disappointed that I couldn't take part in like, because it didn't happen. It didn't happen for 2020, right? So
nothing happened in 2020.
Yeah,
don't feel bad.
Exactly. I was just like, man, all of this cool stuff that all these guys have been doing, and I get shafted my first year in the organization.
Right.
That sucks. But speaking of the organization and you know, getting shafted, you guys eventually left UFC.
Yeah, and shout out to Alfred for the video that's there. He works on a lot of stuff. Like videography is actually more of a passion project for him than anything. But he put the video together, and huge feels, obviously. 2015, we just realized, you know, logistically, and we had planned it out for a couple of years. We were looking at our venues and what our options were in the UFC and the costs and everything like that. And we're like, it has to be like if Otafest is gonna be something we can accommodate its growth of the community, and I think this is, I guess, hitting about that 5,000 mark, 5,500 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I should pull it up because we do have the numbers.
Yeah, it's all up on Wikipedia.
It really is. But like, yeah, it was tough. It was tough. I know a lot of people probably felt a lot of different emotions. I know some of them would probably be sad, and I can't speak to all of that. But personally, what I felt, and that like the emotion that overwhelmed me the most during like the closing ceremonies, the announcement, that we were making, because honestly, like all the staff were there. Like that doesn't happen very much at closing ceremonies because there's a lot of work to be done. But like so many of the staff members were there, and of course, like closing ceremonies is always packed. Great amount of support from everybody showing up, and my first thing and the dominant thing that came out was pride. I cried, and I was very emotional, and I was like running around hugging people and being like, you know, like because like these memories are just so strong, and we were so our identity was very much tied to the University of Calgary.
Yeah.
But pride again was the number one thing. Pride in everything that we accomplished as a team, as individuals, as a community. And I know I repeat myself with those words a lot, but that's because that's how I see it. And if I didn't see it that way, I wouldn't be using those words. I'd be like, well, you know, we did stuff there.
Yeah.
It was cool, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
2015. Oh, I'm my bad. We were well outgrown that space. We almost hit 9,000 that year.
Holy God.
Yeah.
The official count was 8,900, 8,990.
Wow.
And like, by the way the way we count numbers is what we do what's called a warm body tally, because we didn't do a lot of metrics back then. Most cons didn't do a lot of metrics back then. So basically what that meant was like, that does include vendors and staff, and basically anyone that we thought participated in the convention. So that number is as accurate as we think it is, but like from a count standpoint, from anything that we can actually scramble together as a statistic, but it could have actually been higher than that. It's likely that it was higher than that. So it's technically a conservative count, even though like people don't think that. Well, people could be like, well, why are you counting vendors? Are you like pumping up your numbers? But it's like, are the vendors not important? Did they not show up? Like, you know,
Yeah.
did they not participate? They sure as hell did, and so did the staff and volunteers. So give them credit. Oh my God, they did such a good job with this video. Oh, I can't. This is the first time I've seen it since we first ever aired it.
Yeah, even when I watched it, and like I had no attachment to, because 2020 would have been my first Otafest, like not just as staff but as an attendee. So I had literally no attachment. And I'm like, I can see, like I got the understanding of why it was so important for everybody, like to say goodbye to the Hill and to say goodbye to U of C, and why it's still a discussion point all these years later.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the feels, the chills. I have all of it right now, and I'm, you know, it's a good thing. It's a good thing because it's a reminder of why you do it. Not just because of your own interests, again, of like, you know, whether it's building Gunpla or you know, any panel or other content that you provide.
Yeah.
But you have to be willing and wanting to share that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say this a lot about people, like there are some people who will never volunteer for Otafest, and that doesn't hurt me at all. I'm like, because I've always differentiated that con organizers and con participants are two different groups of people. It's not that you can't ever, like, once you're a con organizer, of course you still go to cons, but you do it for different reasons and you see it for different reasons. So, you know, like, on the organizational standpoint, I'm a very bad con attendee. I can't be a con attendee, but like from the con organizational standpoint, I'm like, look at what we put together, you know.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of these folks, even though we don't have a direct connection with them in the sense that we know everyone's name or something like that, I do know that a lot of these folks, a lot of their relationships, their most important relationships and friendships, came from Otafest.
Yeah.
And that's wild. That's so wild to me. And what if we didn't exist? What if we didn't give them that space? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
No, I get it.
Well, and
So-
especially in like the early 2000s, where it really was a very different time for, whether it's being a nerd, being part of the LGBTQ community, just being
Yes.
an outsider. It was really important to have something like Otafest.
right. And yeah, sure, people would. Oh, This is actually a funny story, because before we get, we're being so emotional and serious. One of our favorite things. So during, this ties into a little bit of the emergence that Sean was talking about, but just the idea that one of the reasons we had to move wasn't necessarily just because we had completely outgrown the University of Calgary, because obviously there are spaces there, additional spaces, and we tried to use them too. But the university is a multi-purpose, multi-functioning facility, right? Like, you have to look at it as, we don't technically take priority over anything else just because we're giving them money. They still have to, do what they have to be doing.
Yeah.
And honor other commitments.
Yeah.
So every May long weekend, there were 2 other groups actually using the University of Calgary space. So if anyone knows the University of Calgary, we tended to use Mac Hall and Science Theaters and Earth Sciences. And later we used another area, I can't remember, that was like newly built. If somebody can remember the building sort of in the north side back. But these were the areas that we used. And then there was a volleyball tournament that happened every year. And of course, because it's a sporting event for the university, for collegiate sports, very important. So it's not like we were ever going to beat them out for anything. But they technically used a different area from us. They used like the far side, like the west side of Mac Hall, plus the gyms that were over there.
Yeah.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, of course.
We had thought about using those gym spots as additional vendor spaces and other event spaces, but at the end of the day, like, it wasn't really plausible because of the volleyball team. And then the other group, which cohabited with us, it was in Science Theaters, where a church group took a couple of the panel room areas. Well, the classrooms that we refer to as panel rooms, right?
Yeah.
And, I don't think we ever had a contentious coexistence, but it was all like, going back again to what Sean was saying, like, there was a real emergence of sort of the nerd class of people, plus, again, the LGBTQ community starting to gain some traction and seeing some public support. So obviously you get all these folks, colorful costumes, lots of nothing like weird or taboo, but definitely
against their views,
against the regular norm, right?
Yeah.
Like, we got like a sports group and we got a religious group, and we've got a bunch of nerds literally physically in between these groups, campus wise. And like, again, no fights or anything like that, but it was always like, oh, this is interesting,
Ox, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I can imagine, especially with like the religious side, depending on just how religious they were, there would probably be like murmurings amongst them as they're walking through and seeing the Otafest crew and all that.
Yeah, like, we definitely, I don't know what the numbers are, but if I had to look into how many members of Otafest actively are churchgoers, I would bet that it would be less than 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
But not because of religion specifically, but because of the affiliations that, unfortunately, those things can have.
Of course.
But as a whole, like, I'm not going to talk to anyone to believe their beliefs, but which leads me to another fun story that's not specifically related to like the church group, but it actually goes back a little bit further. I should have talked about this earlier in the slides. It is probably, it's in my opinion, it's the funniest organizational story that we have in our history. I wasn't a part of it yet, but I believe it was 2004. So of course 2004 meant that, that was only 5 years since the con had started. And back in the day, we'd be showing shows, and we were much more film focused, like the film festival feel, than like a cosplay and general nerd media kind of feel that we have now. But there's something called, the Alberta Film Board. I want to say. Like they do the ratings. They you know, if you got a movie or show you want to put out in our province, then you like for the most part they do take the recommendations from the federal film boards, I believe. But basically, anime was kind of new to them. They're like, we sort of know what it is, but we don't really know what it is. But we didn't. But you needed approval for them, right? Like you needed approval if you're going to show something in public, which makes sense. You know, 14A, PG, G, all that kind of stuff, right? But I believe. I wish I had all the perfect details for you because I don't, and that's partly just due to my memory, my poor memory. But I believe what it was is like somebody either forgot to apply or applied too late for that con. And a lot of the content, again, was based around anime showings at the time. So what happened was the communication we got back, and I don't know if this was through email. I have a feeling it was through like snail mail, which also makes it more difficult. They were basically like, because we don't know your content and the ratings, you're allowed to show your rating, your content, but we don't know what it is, so it has to be rated 18A. So every single show, whether it was like, you know, Digimon level-esque or like Hamtaro level or something else, was considered an 18A show. So you had to show your ID. And again, a lot of folks, junior high, high school, and high school 16, 17, and even if you're 18, you might not have an ID yet. Right?
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff didn't get done that year. No, wasn't really participated in that year, I feel like.
That sucks.
I wish I was there for it.
That sucks.
I would love to have been a fly on the wall for that.
Imagine having to show your ID to watch Digimon.
Yeah.
Right? Just be like, Digivolving is illegal.
Yeah, watch the Izaki movie. But I mean, I get that with Grave of the Fireflies, but like all the other ones.
Right? Like My Neighbor Totoro. Oh man, you better not show that to your kids.
Yeah. There's some heavy things. That's awesome though. That's really cool anecdote.
It's just one of those, like, what can you do, right? Like,
you were just starting. Like, mistakes were made. We learned from that. It never happened again. That's it, you know?
Yeah. And we are, I would describe our group as like as amateur or as pro as an amateur group can get. Like, very few of us. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say my like first year experience. It's like we're really good at what we're doing, but we absolutely fly by the seat of our pants.
You know, there is that general idea, but like, it's. I want to talk a little bit about the volunteering aspect of Otafest in the sense that it's a unique group. I'm sure you understand with GTS and all the folks in here just seem, you know, so like passionate and strong-willed about sort of what needs to be done, and that's sort of the prevailing mentality. But like one of the big things is that we've gathered a fairly ragtag group of people that happen to have interests in things that are similar at the time, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you're going to be good at what you're doing. So there was a lot of like learning last minute of what you had to do, flying by the seat of your pants, hoping that duct tape and prayers can hold it together.
Yeah.
Because while some of us are professionals at what we do for Otafest, in that like we have like a actually trained, like professionally trained medical team for emergencies. We have an actual professional accountant who is a volunteer, but in her real life she's an accountant, so she does the accounting for us. Like, and we know that it's gonna be sound. We're not just being like, well, I guess the numbers are okay, or I guess the budget is okay. No, like that shit doesn't get fucked with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like there's this weird cross roads of like the things that I do for Otafest are mostly on the creative side, but like we lend our professional knowledge, our like, you know, all our digital stuff, our webmaster and like admin for all the tech stuff is. He works in software companies, you know, and we have people that support him if need be in new applications for stuff. the skill sets that have come together is kind of what's amazing. Like I remember years ago when we were planning for like more AV related items, we wanted to create like an auto playing sort of like queue of how everything was going to work according to the schedule, and we'd put all the shows there. And then someone else with a computer science degree just was able to put that program together, just like build it from nothing. And I don't know comp sci, I can't do that, but we have people who can do that. And just, they are part of the team, and that's just how things are. We have amateur professionals or professional amateurs. I don't know which way you want to put it, but that's exactly what we are. But we do it well, and we've been around long enough that we know it works.
Yeah.
Well, even like for how Derek, Alina, Mo, and I were brought on, like we were meeting with Vern and Jeffrey about stuff, and then one day Vern's just like, "Well, I've told you guys too much stuff, so now we got to bring you on board." I'm like, "Okay, that's
true. It's true. That's part of it too. The secret is you show an interest in us, and then we figure out how you fit into the puzzle.
How to drag them in.
Once we've sort of once we like sort of, you're the straight Tetris piece, and once you figure out where that fits, you're in.
You're dragged in.
it. I think it was 2 weeks later was the Otafest Christmas party, and like normally I'm not one to go to something like that soon after an organization, but Derek and Alina were like, "Well, we're going and we're taking food." I'm like, "Damn it, that means I gotta go." Of course, I was the first one to get there other than Steph, so I'm like, "Well,"
standing around being like, "I hope someone else shows up today."
This is awkward.
And so, just like to put it in perspective, Steph was the president, I believe, at the time. So it's literally like the newest guy and the president just chilling like at the company Christmas party.
Like, how'd you hear about this party?
Oh, I just wandered into the street.
She wasn't even fully set up with anything, so I'm like, "Okay, just tell me something." So I'm like putting chairs out and putting decorations out, and then
get to work.
This nice hobo man decided to help.
Like I was more or less looking like I look right now. Like I showed
and you're like, "I like robots. I like big robots.
I'm here for the food."
I've never felt so welcome at something like that so soon after joining an organization. I mean, just to drunk Morgan, who just came over and just talked Eric, Alina, and my ears off the entire night, which was fantastic.
That's definitely a shout out to Morgan that we all know.
That's awesome. I mean, it really comes to show the way that your team, or the team that is now Otafest, is still coming together, right? Like, you guys have this sense of partnership. You guys are very welcoming, which even goes back to what you were talking about, how you guys aren't there pretending to be part of the community. Instead, you guys are a part of the community, and your goal is to help people feel accepted, and I think that's a very honorable and noble thing.
And I want to put it out there that, like, different staff members have different priorities, and we don't begrudge them that. Like, if you have, if you want to hang out with your family more, or like doing other things more than like hang out with Otafest people, we get it. We don't really, but you're always able to join us. We've done, we as a group have done so many things together as well. That sort of is like a testament to, again, like it's a friendship thing, not an organization thing. It's not a work thing. We talk about a company Christmas party because we want to hang out and see each other and have food together. We've road tripped to Vancouver to go to whatever the prevailing anime con was over there at the time. It switches a lot, so I don't remember the name. I don't know. I just don't know what their con scene is right now. But we do road trips to other cons. We'd go out to Banff and just go to the hot springs, or just have picnics together, hang out, play board games. Like, it is not as much as we're like, well, we focus on the work and we do a lot of volunteering things, and it's like, yeah, but we also just hang out and have fun. And again, it's an open invite. Some people show up more often than others, but that's just because we all lead a different style of life. No one can tell you that's good or bad.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, big part of it.
I mean, and I can see it, and I can see this personality, in Derek and Alina and Sean, right? I mean, I can draw the parallel from last year, because for those who don't know, Sean, Derek, and Alina, and Kevin, I've only known them for a year in February. We've only known each other for a year, right? And now We were like best friends. We're a family, basically, right? And I'll always remember the day that I met him, and Derek and Alina were like, "Hey, so tomorrow we're gonna meet up. We have the CTC, meeting on
Yeah.
at Shoebox." And then my wife and I like, "Oh." We went over there, and then we just went every single time. And then one day we were just at Alina's house chilling, building, and then all of a sudden we're part of the whole scene, and we're like, "Oh,
Right.
this is how they do it." So they learned it from you guys. They learned how to do the whole brainwashing stuff. Bringing it. It's a cult. It's a cult. And when you find
You guys
yourself in
gotta
a
roll with your
cult,
crew.
you gotta call your dad, right? Right, Sean?
Absolutely. I learned that lesson well from My Favorite Murder.
And over
No, go ahead.
No, so over here we have this video of 2018, which is an anniversary, right? 20 years of you guys doing this,
Oh heck yeah,
right?
the big 2-0. Oh, I love that merch shirt. Some of the merch that came from that year was amazing. Like I say some, like all of it was amazing, but like some of it just really stood out from stuff that we'd done before.
Yeah.
Because we are not a pro con. We're not like some of the larger cons
Like
that you have in the
Comic-Con.
area or yeah, exactly. So again, like we are always on the lookout for people who want to contribute and can contribute their like skill sets. And like I think it was around that time, honestly, that we'd really start focusing on getting like more and more quality merch options available, cooler designs, things that people could wear proudly in an everyday sort of environment. And it wasn't just about like pin collecting, which is a huge thing, but like just casual stuff,
Yeah.
And I loved that was so the Ceph mascot that we have there and Aurora mascot there as well. The theme that year was like gods, like Japanese gods, essentially.
Yeah.
The art and the merch and the mascot costumes and everything aligned perfectly. They were some of my absolute favorite themes that we've ever had, because every year we have a different theme, but it just came together so well.
Yeah. Damn. I mean, that sounds cool. I mean, even the art. I'm hearing art, and the first thing I think about is chasing artwork. We had him
Right.
on last week, and he actually told us.
Had him.
Yeah, so he told us, he actually gave us a task. He's like, tell Otafest next week that I missed him. So, Chasing Artwork
Aw.
misses you a lot. So
I'm sorry that you're just missing us. We need to just have you on so you don't have to miss us.
he says
that makes sense, right?
the thing is he credits you guys he credits Otafest, the convention, as the main role, like the convention that made him realize that he could do what he does now for a living, right? So he has
wild.
he has a very special place in his heart for Otafest, and so he says he misses you guys.
That's like I said, I get emotional very easily.
You can cry, man. It's okay.
Hit me right in the feels. But
Sean see me cry. It's okay.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. We would love to have you back if you have the time for us. We'll have our people call your people.
Okay.
But like honestly, I'd like to think that that's what we are for a lot of people, is a way to for them to springboard a lot of their ideas and dreams and relationships to the next level.
Yeah. No,
we're not the biggest thing out there, but when is it it's never the big thing that gets you where you're going, right? It's always a smaller thing. It's always the step somewhere in the middle that really got you to the next big thing, right? So
Yeah.
I like to think that we fulfill that.
Yeah, and with this project, now we have this other slide here, Otafest in the community, and what you guys have done for the community, right? So we have this Otafest, the Calgary Pride 2019. So this is the year before the event, as we call it with Chasing Artwork. He actually coined that with Lexi and I, the event.
The event.
Yeah, the event.
I like it.
So this is Otafest at Calgary Pride. So this is the big float, right? This is you guys.
Oh, okay. I jumped
repping.
ahead, but this is great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's Lana's truck.
I also do want to shout out, because you put it up there for us. It's just a small sampling of all the communities that we work with. As many people do know, we are also we also fundraise for charitable organizations, mostly local organizations. One of the big exceptions was back in 2003, where there was a Japanese tsunami. No, wait, was it 2003? 2013. That's the right word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
remember what year it
2013.
was that Jenny said it was, but yeah, that was
Yeah.
it was Red Cross of Japan or something like that.
Yeah, because that was the Fukushima disaster and everything like that. But obviously, there's reasons why we would want to contribute to that year, and obviously we have a big local focus towards many of our charities. Oh, look at these babies! I love them. Look at these precious babies. Oh, I think I just saw myself in the truck just now.
Did you? I'm gonna be
Yeah,
staring. I'm gonna be staring at this
there.
video now. Instead of looking at you over here, I'm gonna be looking at the video on my right side. So
Yeah.
I'll let you talk.
Oh God, I've done that a lot already. It's getting sweaty over here.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure I'm in. Yeah, as the door's opening, and I think I'm in the red.
Yeah.
But a lot of yeah. This is just like the pre-launch. Oh, look at people showing up in cosplays. Look at that.
Oh wait, I know that guy. He was at the restaurant. Again, orange.
Probably, yeah.
Bayfar, yeah, there he is. I saw him. He was on the float in the back, yeah.
And we've this is from a couple years ago. We've upgraded that truck since. I think Lana has a different truck now as well, like a even bigger, better one, and we've upgraded the float. I'm part of the committee that sort of oversees what we can do for the float to make it more amazing every year.
Yeah.
So when we do planning talks, super happy to be part of that community.
Yeah. We have Vandril who followed us 7 minutes ago. Thank you, Meg, for following us. Hope you hope everything's going well over there. And then we have Vandril has used 5 bits for cheer 5, so thank you so much for that.
Hell
That's
yeah.
awesome. That's freaking
Good time
awesome.
to cheer.
And Freddie, of course, wants to start a cult with us. And you know what? We're fine. That's the thing about the communities like this is, and I tell this to my friends all the time, and I credit Gumpla for this. Gumpla. I know right now we're talking about Otafest, right? We're talking about conventions and all of that. But where we shine here on GTS, it's Gumpla and the community. If it wasn't for Gumpla, I wouldn't know Meg, I wouldn't know Freddie, I wouldn't know Sean, I wouldn't be talking to you guys here in Otafest, right, Jay?
If it wasn't for giant robots.
Yeah.
What if it's a John Mayer cult, Jess? Sign me up. I'm already a part of the John Mayer cult. In fact, I think Sean saw me yesterday with my shirt that says I love John Mayer. I have a shirt that literally says I love John Mayer. So the secret's out.
I promptly called my dad after that to just let him know that Jess is in a cult.
Yeah. No, but
Actually, I wanted to talk about
John Mayer
stuff with you guys.
Oh, sorry.
Of course, John Mayer.
Okay.
Because I can freely admit that my genres of let's say anime fandom or whatever isn't heavily rooted in mecha stuff.
Yeah.
Not because I don't like it, but because some of the storylines I'm too dumb. I'm just there's so much politics. I'm here for big robot battle.
Yeah.
And so I grew up on Gundam Wing, Escaflowne. And then I was gonna ask you guys if you guys consider, or in the community, if it's considered that Evangelion is a mecha anime or not.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is.
Because it's definitely not the same. It doesn't take place in space. There's technically it's the suits, not the suits. Well, I guess the suit is an organic being, and then they're just armor on top.
You mean the restraints?
Yeah.
You're talking to an Ava fan here, all right? So yes, it is a mecha.
All right. You got it.
It's yeah. I have my mecha. Actually, I have my Avas over here. I have all 3 of them. I'm missing the Unit 2 still. So yeah, I know you can't see me, Jay. I know you can't. You're missing this beautiful face.
I got you. I've secret trick. I've been watching the stream as well the whole time.
No.
Because I can.
No.
I have the bandwidth.
No. Obviously in May we're gonna unveil the new segment that we have, but there will be a lot more talk about Ava and other things, and especially for season 4 also. So people stick around for that. But yes, is
Very
Ava
nice.
mecha anime? Yes, it is. Is it is it the same as other mecha animes? No, it deals
But
with
it doesn't
different
have to be the same.
But it doesn't
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, Ava kind of walks a really fine line between real robot and super robot, because it's got the serious tones of a real robot anime, but it's so excessive and over the top that it could count as a super robot as well.
What, Ava?
Yeah.
It's over the top?
Well, I mean, the not in like the we're blowing up the universe.
Oh,
at the
okay,
top,
okay.
But it's like they're literally fighting like biblical angels and
Yeah, and it's sort of like they pit it against like sort of for the good of humanity, for the continued survival of humanity.
Yeah.
We do have a question in chat as well. If Code GS counts as a mecha anime.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that one's known. I've never watched Code Geass, but I know enough to know that it is a mecha anime.
Yeah.
And then
There's another one. Hold on, keep going. I
okay.
have a question.
Decon says, Jess, will you be getting the Godzilla Eva hybrid? I mean, of course. Whatever I can get my hands on Eva that isn't gonna put a hole in my pocket, I'll grab it. Like that's the thing, right? Like I think we had Kurosama who had the Eva popcorn thing. Remember the head?
Well, he also did the turn Ava.
Yeah. So like, and he did the turn Eva. Like I would love that. So so now that I was gonna say, now that we reeled them in, we're gonna change the whole thing. This is actually an Ava episode, guys. Welcome to the real episode of GTS this Friday. No, I'm kidding. So what's up, Jay? What was the question, man?
I was gonna say like I also watched Full Metal Panic, and that's like sort of
so good.
It's close because because they have battle suits, right? They have like those powered battle suits.
But that one's not. I wouldn't consider to make it.
Definitely. No, it's Full Metal Panic. Yeah. Not. Or
he said Alchemist.
Did you say
no,
Alchemist?
Full Metal Panic.
Oh, I heard Alchemist. I was about to say. Okay, no, Full Metal Panic. Yes, it is. We've talked about this. Yeah.
It's Real Robot.
It's Real Robot.
Hell yeah. I love that show.
You asked Jay. Whenever you want to come in here and ask questions, we're here for you. If Derek, so Derek, I don't know what you guys have him tagged as in the Otafest fam, but here in the GTS fam, he is known as the Gundam lore guy. So he's like the encyclopedia of anime and Gundam, right?
Got it.
Any questions, our Lord and Savior Derek will answer them.
I also do want to shout out to Pura hosts because they are Vari, an Otafest mascot, is here.
Ooh, nice. Nice. Shout out to you.
Shout out.
Oh, and he followed us 5 minutes ago. Piros, thank you so much for the follow. Honestly, guys, if you guys are there and you guys haven't followed, it'd be really awesome to get you guys on here. Brofar is here. That means it's Bayfar, right?
No.
It sure is.
That's Bayfar.
Yo, the Otafest team showing up now.
Yeah.
The show's almost over. They're here.
Yeah, that's how it goes. It's okay. They didn't want to. They already get way enough of me. So like them showing up in 5 minutes would be like, I was here and I supported.
Yeah. I showed up for it. It's it's cool. It's really nice to have you guys here, and like going back to like the Otafest part, like, and going back to Derek and Alina, because honestly, the connection that I have with Otafest is Derek, Alina, and Sean. If Otafest is anything like they are welcoming, how they welcomed my wife and I, having no family here in Calgary, right? And my wife and I now consider them our family. I can just imagine the Otafest family being the same. And it's really nice to see that there are people like you that exist in this world, right? So, what is Bayfar? Yes, I have a wife. I remember when Meg found it.
Not a question that that should merit answering in the show.
No. I speak freely of my wife. I think Meg, when they found out I have a wife, she's like, "Wait, you're married?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm married. I have my beautiful wife. She's upstairs right now."
You know why they're asking is just because you're in high demand, and they're like, "Damn, there goes my shot."
Yeah, no, there's still a shot. My wife will happily share me. She shares me with Kevin Hong, if you guys know him. So,
all right.
Yeah, and with Derek sometimes. Too.
Got you.
No, but it's really nice to see that you guys have such a close-knit community, but are very welcoming to everybody, right? Which is the really cool part.
That's the name of the game for us.
Exactly.
Like, from all of our volunteers, I mean, when I say volunteers, I mean like the ones that don't do all the planning meetings but they just show up. We have volunteers that literally, like, again, they don't get a say in how Otafest is done, in the sense that like they don't do the planning and all the work behind, but like on the day of, we have ones that are like decade, like they have been here around that long for a decade, for like more than that, just showing up year after year, after we just send them an email, hey, you want to be a volunteer? And they're like, yeah. And they're not doing it for like student hours. They're not doing it for like a resume necessarily. Although we do provide like references and stuff because we want to support our folks. But like, I mean, here for the show and the people, I have to assume, you know, like at least I have some control over my realm. But for them, they're like, hey, you know, it's a good time, so I'm gonna show up.
Yeah. That's the way it works. And speaking of the community, what do you guys have in store for Otafest 2021? You want to talk about that a little bit here?
Yeah. Otafest 2021. It's our. For some reason, it's going to be online only. It is
for the event.
Be on Twitch. Yes, for the event. No big global pandemic reason. Just we decided not to have a physical a location anymore. No, we're putting on a show for Saturday of May 22nd. That's what it was. I was gonna say 22nd actually, but I need to confirm.
My wife's birthday. Nice.
All the more reason.
Yeah, she just keeps popping up. She just keeps popping up.
Yeah, and basically we've got, you know, without giving too much away, we've got a bunch of panel type content. We have some performers, special guests. Basically almost everything you can expect from Otafest the event, just not in a physical form. We have some stuff we haven't announced yet, but I'm super looking forward to people's reactions because I know how much work's been put into every bit.
Yeah.
We have a certain Gunpla team doing something.
Nothing major.
Honestly, dude, considering the logistics behind it, I would say it's pretty major, and I'm looking forward to the interactivity. That's one of the coolest parts because it's like there's a lot of things that, you know, obviously as a show you can do, especially a live show that's like, oh, you know, you're just gonna sit down and watch, and there's not gonna be too much interaction other than between chat and whatever. But we are doing our best to provide some interactivity and thinking outside the box as in how we deliver that as well. So I'm really hoping that you know, the Gunpla folks show up, the idol folks show up, like fans of every genre in our community can come in and pop off with our show, you know. There's something really cool we're doing that is like even mascot related. So like I think we really are touching on all of our like base kind of aspects from a event standpoint, you know. But we do miss seeing everybody on the regular, like knowing that people can meet up in their cosplay groups, get their photos done. Unfortunately, we don't have as many options there, but I think there will be some pleasant surprises coming up soon for everyone once they learn of our full schedule, which will be coming up by the end of April, I believe.
Nice.
Bayfar might kill me if that's actually too early, but I seem to remember.
No, pressure him.
I mean,
pressure him.
The website is claiming by the end of February, so I mean,
something like that.
Yeah. But actually, you know what? Honestly, if I can, for anyone who is watching in Calgary, there, as Bayfar pointed out in the chat, there are still a lot of the Pikachu and Goku kits available. So I mean,
oh hell yeah!
If you guys are
they're free.
City, yeah, they're free, and it's all you got to do is pick them up from Derek's family's restaurant, and you know, maybe buy some Chinese food because why not? You're already there.
Support local.
Yeah, exactly. Support local. That's kind of the whole plan with this. But yeah, just go to the Otafest website, go to the Gunpla section of the website, register, and yeah, join us so that we can teach you how to build a Pikachu or a Goku.
Yeah, and honestly, despite it being Calgary, right, you know, we can't have the GTS fam that's in New York come out of here and pick something up, right? Because of certain restrictions, because of, the event.
Weird.
Yeah. You know, but for the GTS fan watching, you guys can help out by coming in and watching it, you know, because it is live streamed, so you will be able to get in and watch it, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I think I can easily convince Jess to host the event.
Yeah, no, it'll get hosted here. You know, if we can have some people watching, like, you know, you guys are here local, as you know, helping each other out, and of course, you know, it's a passion project also with Sean Derek and Alina, and you know,
And Mo, don't forget Mo.
and Mo. I love Mo. I miss him. I wish I could see him more, but you know. But speaking of which, you guys have special guests and events here. So who are the special guests that are going to be on here?
We have Sonia Blade was our most recently announced guest. So I want to put that one out there first. She's a cosplayer, I believe, out of Texas. So she'll be joining us, and she'll be hosting a panel
Awesome.
based around sort of how to improve your cosplay, and I think it's mostly focused as well on like corset making is what I was
I'm down.
informed of. And when I say like informed of, like I don't know anything, it's true. I don't know anything because I'm only interested in the things that I do because there's so much general information out there that I can't keep track of all of it. So I'm guilty of that. We also have voice actors Erica Lindbeck and Billy Kametz, which, as some people may recognize, were guests that we actually announced for last year, a show that got canceled, but we still wanted to deliver some content from them as soon as we could. Billy Kametz is known for like roles in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Agretzko, Cells at Work is another show that he's in. He's Metal Lee, which is like I think Rock Lee's son in like Naruto, the next the new one. I don't know that stuff. I'm too old for that. Erica Lindbeck is amazing. She's got roles in lots of video games and anime. She's Jessie in Final Fantasy VII Remake. She's Erica in Promare, which was like the movie that came out like I think 2 or 3 years ago, right?
So good.
She's the lead female character, Kaori Miyazono, in Your Lie in April, which is a great like slice of life anime that'll hurt your heart.
Yeah.
So, and she's also the official voice of Barbie.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of like super cool.
That's like that's like wow.
Right?
Yeah.
We've got Crunchyroll who will be doing a panel with us as well, and
On the V Gundam?
Probably not that, but they have like a game show I believe called Senpai Notice Me.
Cool.
And Crunchyroll they usually partner up with us to deliver our anime viewings at our actual in-person cons, so they're always fantastic. And the 404s, which are a local improv comedy troupe. When I say local, I should say Canada-based nowadays because they used to be local, but as they grew, so did their membership, and they're spread out a little bit more. But it doesn't matter if it's digital. Their group's going to show up and do some comedy for us, all nerd-based stuff, so it's fantastic stuff.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I think that covers most of it. There's the Otafest versus Animathon Battle of Alberta. That's going to be a little panel game show. Going back to that friendly rivalry that we have with Edmonton, of course.
Emphasis on friendly.
Friendly. No, big emphasis on rivalry. Huge.
I always joke around, of course, no offense to Edmonton, but I always say the best thing in Edmonton is Ryan Lau. So the GTS fan will get that one. Ryan Lau.
And the best thing to do in Edmonton is to leave.
Yes.
The desolate wasteland.
That being said, we do have staff members in Edmonton, so they know what they should do, really. But
leave?
Hey, they decide to live there. Exactly.
Oh man.
They have some fantastic staff members. I'm super looking forward to that. I was going to be part of that actual game show, but I have some other duties during the day, so I probably won't be able to join, but I think it'll be really fun watch.
I'm in on it. So
yeah, that's right. You took one of the spots that I think Sean will do fantastic as well. It's anime based. The questions. Yeah.
So GTS fam, tune in and cheer me on as I try not to fail.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't disappoint the Otafest family.
Oh.
We all know how friendly we are and how nice we are. You don't want to know the dark side.
I'll end up with a cut in half body pillow. In my head.
Exactly.
Make him an offer he can't refuse, of course.
Exactly.
No, this sounds awesome. Of course, you guys we'll put it up on our Discord and let the GTS fam know so they can at least go over and learn some things from your different guests. Be part of the everything that you guys have, events. A little bit of comedy, even with Family Feud, even seeing Sean. So that's gonna be awesome. And honestly, we can't wait to see all of this. Guys, go check them out at Otafest on Instagram. And also check them out here on Twitch at Otafest. That's where the event will be held. So you go head over there and keep that in mind. It'll be on the 22nd of May again, right? So Saturday. So watch out for that. And that's really about it. Honestly, Jay, thank you for the stories, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I mean, honestly, great time.
Also, don't forget to check out the Otafest podcast because, you know.
Oh God.
That's Jay. That's Jay, baby.
Did I miss the slide with it, or did you take it out?
No, it was there.
It was on the.
It was there. I just didn't want to talk about it. I saw it. I saw it in the corner of my eye. I was just like, cool. But here's another story.
Wait, is that on the? Yeah, it's on the Pride one, right?
Yeah. It's on the
So look, so guys, you guys have been watching us now for 2 hours. And you guys already heard Jay's beautiful voice. He's got a good podcast voice, you know what I mean? You know, so you guys can go over there and listen to it.
And a face for it too.
Yeah, no, definitely check out the podcast, right? So what is the podcast called? Like, where can they go watch it or see it or listen to it in this case?
Otafest podcast, myself, Nancy, and Angelo are the main hosts. We talk about everything happening in the nerd community, some things in our personal nerdy little lives, and we cover some Otafest news as well. We'll talk about a few things that happen in the con community every now and then, but generally we're like an all-purpose kind of show. We're weekly on Wednesday releases, and we are on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube.
And MySpace.
All at just Otafest. Yeah, absolutely MySpace. We're right underneath Tom in your friend listings, I believe, so you can find us there too.
Yeah, go check it out. I mean, again, beautiful voice, man. Honestly, he's got a good voice. He's got a good.
You're too kind.
Really good.
I still fall in that purview of I don't know how anyone else listens to it because the one I hear in my head isn't all that good, but people like it, I guess. So.
I love that. It's so weird how we're conditioned to the voice in our head and then we listen to ourselves. Yeah. You're like, who the fuck is talking? Like, why am I talking? You know, like, and it's
who wants to listen to me?
Who wants to listen to us? But
I experience that every 20 minutes at work when the promo I recorded plays on our store radio, and I just want to tear that thing out of the ceiling.
Kind of cringe, you know. You're like,
I would hate that.
You know.
And the worst part is like I'll get asked every now and then to like help voice something, like in no means like a voice actor kind of way, but just like announce something or whatever. I'm like, if that's what you want, I guess. I know words.
Brofar says if it's a promo for something weird. Probably is.
No, it's literally for break inspections.
Do you have an itchy ass? You know.
Do you have a wife?
No, but seriously, guys, go check out his podcast and go check out Otafest. Like, I know it says at Otafest there, but of course, you know, Jay's like, you just put Otafest there because he's representing Otafest. So go check it out, and stick around for the 22nd of May, when this whole thing goes down. It's gonna be awesome. But moving on to everything else, really quick. Thank you, Jay. Before we say our goodbyes and everything, I want to remind everybody that right now we have the Machine Dramon review live on our YouTube at Gunpla Talk Show over there on YouTube. That's done by our boy here, Sean. Right. Speaking of voices, it's a voiceover, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
So this is a new style that we're trying out. Instead of you guys looking at our beautiful faces all the time, he's going to be the first one to try out the voiceover and just having... Oh, wait, what was that?
Beautiful.
So, you know, it's an experiment, kind of. Of course, we're going to be going down this route from now on, especially with the restrictions that we have right now where we can't hang out. So definitely go over there and watch it. Leave a dislike or leave a like, you know. But if you leave a dislike, let us know what we can improve on, because that's how we kind of want to work things out. We already have some points from our patrons and everything. So definitely let us know what you guys think. The Machine Dramon, it's an awesome kit. Awesome kit. I don't want to ruin the review, but definitely go watch it.
It's got skulls for knees, for God's sake. How? I just have regular knees. How much better can you get?
Right?
Skulls for knees.
You know, Sean needs those skull knees, or whatever it's called, the skull knees.
Yeah, I just want to be that much of an edgelord.
It's amazing.
And remember, guys, to follow us on Facebook at GTS Base, Instagram at Gunpla Talk Show. We have our Twitter, which Alina has taken over, and she's doing a great job on that. So go check it out at Gunpla Talk Show. And of course, our YouTube, subscribe. And here on Twitch, leave a follow, subscribe if you want to, and if you can, to support us a little bit. It goes a long way. Thank you again, Rusty Golem, for giving out all these gifts and all that stuff for people. Govin2 followed us 9 minutes ago. I hope I said that right. I think I said it wrong, maybe. Govin2 has followed us 9 minutes ago. So thank you for that. And everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. Honestly, it was super fun. And last thing, sorry, Jay. I know Jay's like, are you guys going to let me go now?
Oh, no. I was thinking that we also have plans maybe to have you guys on the podcast. So check that out.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. So keep that in mind. I will, get interviewed or something, or one of us will.
Exactly.
Over there at the podcast, and you guys will
get
listen to us again. And consider becoming a patron. Honestly, exclusive look at upcoming content, chance to win kits with our tier system, support our goal to better equipment. Getting better cameras. And there's also the Discord Patreon Lounge. Which they actually got a little bit of nice perk for the upcoming show next week, which we have the masterclass, the second masterclass of its kind. We're going to have Saintism for you guys. So you guys, the cat's out of the bag. You guys know Saintism will be teaching you guys how to pose and take better photographs. And he has it's planned out. Like Sean has seen it. Looks sick. Like the class is going to be awesome.
And the best part is I get a Friday off.
Yeah, it'll just be me and Saint. I'll be fanboying over Saint because Saint knows how much I love him. But seriously, thank you, Jay, for joining us, dude.
Thank you for having me on and repping an organization that I believe deserves all of our love. Mm-hmm. So we'll catch you next time, but I would love to be back on as well.
Of course.
Definitely.
Opportunities will come around for that. But anyway, guys, good night, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Yeah.
Take care.